if I start telling people about hell, I might just scare them off. Where are you going to scare them off to? Hell number 2? Or are you just going to sit there and let them burn?
So speaking of timelines, you see how the world is getting chaotic, and I think all of us here in the room have lived long enough to see it change very quickly. What are your thoughts on what's happening today, how close we are to, let me not ask you too many at one time. What are your thoughts on where we are today as far as end time Bible prophecy?
Well, of course, my perspective, is from that as an American.
Right.
And just what I've seen in our country, as I've said, I think twice before in the program, I'm 65 years old. So I believe, for example, this last presidential election, one of the major issues was nationalism versus globalism.
Right.
I think the Obama administration and the Clinton administration was going to continue this thrust toward globalism. And you see all kinds of people upset, that we now have a guy who's a nationalist, in the United States. And I believe in nationalism, as I just explained, because of the divine institutions. Because because Satan's whole goal is moving toward what? Toward him being the dictator over the whole world during the tribulation. And we see that is moving generally in that direction. Everybody today in colleges and universities all believe in globalism. I'm not talking about Christians, but or people who think biblically, because some Christians even support that, unfortunately. The fact of the matter is that's where we're going to be headed eventually. And we saw a disruptor, with our current president, and he's getting all kinds of hell, breaking out over him, and resistance, because the psyche and the mentality of the world is we want to be global. Everything's got to be global. Socialism, communism is going to make everybody equal and all of this kind of stuff. And so, Christians turned out in the United States and had a record turnout in this last election, and they voted, like 83% for nationalism versus globalism. So that was good, I think. And as a result, perhaps we're seeing a little restraint. But I'll tell you, what's going to happen is when the other side gets back in, there's going to be a whiplash toward globalism like you've never seen. And we see all the, just think if the rapture happens, there would be no one left but those who believe in globalism, just about. And there would be some that aren't into that, but it wouldn't have much resistance left to it. And so we see the European Union is some kind of preparation for the revived Roman Empire that the Antichrist is going to head up. And people are wanting out of it, but it fits perfectly into the book of Daniel in chapter 2, where it says it's iron mixed with clay. The clay doesn't adhere to the iron. The iron is the totalitarianism that the Roman Empire had, you see. But the clay is the desire to break up into national entities, you see. And they're attempting to bring Europe together, but there are those that don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? And it's not going to be till the Antichrist gets control that they're going to have, this 10-nation confederacy that is going to be, it says 7 of those nations will be persuaded to get into this confederacy, but 3 will be taken over militarily. See? So we're seeing all of this stuff move in that direction. Religiously, we're seeing apostasy like we've never seen in Christianity. The departure from the faith. The Bible doesn't have specific prophecies relating to the church age. It's just got general trends, and the general trend is that the gospel is going to be preached, going to go global, but as the church gets bigger and bigger and bigger, Christendom, then it becomes increasingly apostate. And this is what we're seeing. All the apostate forms of Christianity want to merge with all the other religions, you see. But if you keep the emphasis on the historical fact that Jesus Christ came and died on the cross for sinners, you can't do that. So they have to take the gospel out and move into social issues or psychological issues, and this ecumenicalism is getting bigger and bigger, even within so-called American evangelicalism. And you see Russia and that coalition that's going to invade Israel one day, of Iran, of Turkey, and those nations coming together like never before. And, so I see all these stage setting things going on. And the fact that Israel's back in the land is God's super sign, as we've already talked about, that he's getting ready to do something. And so I think we're living, right before the Lord will come and take the church out so that he can move history forward with the events of the 7-year tribulation culminating in his glorious return and reign for 1,000 years.
Right, I agree, because I see that my personal belief, and I think Rory will concur, is that time is very short.
If you like our videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our frequent updates.